Hey guys, so I'm getting ready to do another painting video, but I want your help this time. So I'm going to ask a couple questions, and based on what you choose, that's what I'm going to paint, and I'm going to use it for inspiration. So help me out by answering the next couple questions. All right guys, here are the answers that you guys gave to me. I had absolutely no idea what I was gonna paint when I asked these questions, so it was kind of fun coming up with something based on all of your answers. And I really hope I did it a little bit of justice. So let's get into the video. I'll show you all the supplies I picked and we'll get started. So the majority of you guys wanted me to use the round paper. I'm gonna include a link to everything as usual below, so you can grab this as well. Also, the color palette, I was honestly kind of hoping for the other color palette since I don't use oranges and reds that often, but yeah, this is what you guys picked, so that's what I have to use. You guys also chose smaller brushes, which I was happy about because I don't do a lot of work with large brushes, to be honest. You also said that you wanted me to use ink in the piece, and I wasn't too excited about doing it in this piece, but I think it turned out okay. You guys will have to let me know in the comments what you think, if you liked it better with or without ink. So this painting also has to be a single object, and it has to be something on land. The furry or smooth question was just, I don't even know what I was thinking, but it was 50-50, so I just chose one and went with it. So I've got the colors ready here. We're using raw umber, Indian red, burnt sienna, and gamboge hue. So I was trying to think of something that was in the yellows, oranges, and red color family that was on the land that I could do sort of a close-up kind of single feature type painting instead of a full landscape, and I kind of thought of the idea of doing peaches. I don't know why, it just popped in my head, and it uses all of these gorgeous colors, so I thought it would be cool to just do a little cluster of 3 peaches on a branch. I sketched it out beforehand just using a pink pencil crayon. I actually like using pencil crayons, like pastel color pencil crayons, a lot better than actual pencil for watercolor paintings, because sometimes the pencil, even if you do use a light hand, sometimes it does kind of get stuck under the paint and you can't erase it. So I find with the colored pencil, it really kind of disappears underneath everything, so you don't have to worry about those lines. So I've just filled in the first layer of the peaches with a little mix of all 3 of those colors. I'm going to be doing another layer, actually 3 layers, on top of these, so you'll see that in a second. But right now, I kind of faced a dilemma because I realized afterwards that the leaves were supposed to be green, but that wasn't in the color palette you guys chose. So I kind of had to make do, and I mixed up a little of the yellow with a little bit of the raw umber, and I don't know how I feel about it. I think in the end it turned out okay, but I really would have liked to use the green. I actually almost cheated a little bit and used a green ink because you guys said I could use ink, but I couldn't find a green pen, so yeah, I stuck with this kind of golden colored leaf. So I'm just doing another layer on top of that dried layer now, and you'll see that when you do this with watercolor, this is when it really starts to become more vibrant, and you can kind of get some nice texture in your work. I really liked that with these peaches because they do have a little bit of texture, and the color isn't the same all the way through. It does kind of have splotches of reds and darker oranges as well as yellows, so it was really cool to just layer, I don't know, a bunch of different colors on top of one another and just watch them see what happens, I guess. I decided to add a little bit of the raw umber to the leaves to add a little bit of depth. I'm not overly excited about these leaves. I think I could have done them a lot better. But I don't know, I think I was just getting a little bit confused that they weren't green. I don't know why that was bugging me so much, but I guess it was, and yeah. What do you guys think? Does it look okay with the golden colored leaves? Does it kind of give like a fall vibe maybe? I don't know, what do you think? I'm going in with a third layer now, just a really light wash of the existing colors on top of the ones that are there. And now that that is dry, I'm just taking my eraser and erasing those pink lines. There wasn't too much erasing to do because, as I said, the pencil kind of disappears underneath the paint, which is really cool about using colored pencils. So now I'm gonna move on to adding the ink. I'm done with the painting portion, so I'm using a size 1 micron pen, and I'm just starting on the branch, and I'm just adding little lines and little darker spots. I start using sort of a cross-hatching technique as I go along, but right now I'm just kind of adding a bit of texture to the branches. I know it's really hard to see here, but hopefully at the end it will all come together. My pen decided to die on me here, so I went on the hunt for another size 1 pen, and I found my mono drawing pen in the same size, and it works just as well. Both of these kinds of pens are really, really good. When I do ink work, I like to keep my lines a little broken looking. I don't really like to do solid lines. I just think it looks a little bit better if they're broken. It kind of adds not more realism to it, but it just doesn't look so cartoony, I guess is the word. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but I think it looks better if you keep them a little bit broken and a little bit random. I'm also gonna start adding in some white highlights. I'm using the Jelly Roll white ink pen. I did try to use my Posca white marker, but the tip was just a little too big for me, so this one is decent as well. So I'm just gonna add a couple highlights. I'm just using dots for the highlights on the actual peaches, just wherever I think the sun would be hitting it, and yeah, then I'll work on some of the leaves. I'm just gonna add a couple of the veins in the leaves using the white pen. And then I'll go back in after with the black marker and add a little bit of shadow detail and stuff like that. I'm just using that same mono drawing pen, size 1. I like to try to use the same size ink pen throughout the whole piece so that it doesn't look a little off, because the different size tips produce obviously a different size lines. So I just want to keep it all uniform. And I'm just adding some broken lines around all of the leaves, around the peaches, and then adding a little bit of shadow detail wherever I think it needs it. I start doing a little bit of cross hatching here just to kind of finish it all off and bring it all together. It's also really easy to overdo it with the ink, and a lot of the time when I am using ink, I kind of start going a little too far and then I have to stop myself, just because it can get a little bit addicting going in and adding a little bit more until you've got like a whole piece that doesn't make sense with ink everywhere. So I tried to stop when I felt that there was enough shadow detail. So that's it. That is my finished Instagram challenge painting. I actually have not seen this done before, painting based on Instagram questionnaires. So if you guys liked this idea, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and let me know what you think. Do you like it with ink? Do you wish I didn't use ink? I want to know your opinions in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.